Hey guys, how are you? So, good morning. It is Chisa Penix Brown, and I am. We're having some difficulty, but not in a bad way. So let me explain to you. So this morning we were going to do an Will. There we go. We were going to do an interview on our normal platform, but we had a slight issue. And sometimes this is actually really a good learning lesson. There we go, Denise. I knew we were going to make this happen. Okay.
I had
So let
all
me
the
tell you.
confidence in you, Chisa. You
Listen,
can
I
make
knew
it happen.
that's why I said, look, if we can't make it do it one way, we'll make it do it another way. So what happened was Denise and I were supposed to be doing it on our normal platform that we use, StreamYard. And this is just a lesson so that you guys will know this too. So she's in a rural area, and sometimes in rural area, the connectivity is not as good. And so we were having feedback. You know, you could hear me. She was hearing me sounding like a robot. I heard her good, but it was kind of this crazy thing going on. So I said, listen, we are still going to do this interview. Let's do something different. We'll just do it on Instagram, and then we can take the content. And so, ta-da, now you Instagram people, you get to see everything live. So Denise, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Chisa. I am very well. And thank you so much for inviting me to be your guest. I am excited. And you are the gal that knows it all. And I've learned a tremendous amount from you. So thank you for letting me join you.
Oh, no, this is wonderful, and thank you. And let me tell you something. I don't know it all because I'm going to tell you what I don't know. That's one. I'm really good at telling you I don't know something. But when oh, okay, we have somebody that's a problem on here. Hold on, we're gonna have to block you real quick. All right, there we go. Somebody's out here. I've never had a troll kind of thing on here, but somebody decided that they were going to write some bad stuff this morning. So that's terrible. But don't even worry about that. So the thing about this today is we're doing the Women in Business Summit that is coming up, and it will be on the 25th of March at Halifax Community College. Now, Halifax is up north, like Raleigh's like this, then you keep on going over this way, and then you get to Halifax. But before you do that, Denise is up that way too, so she's kind of in between those two things. And I said, well, listen, if we're going to do a Women's in Business Summit, first of all, I wanted to do diversity, definitely, all different women, different ages, different races, all of that. And I also wanted to do somebody who had already been established in business. And so she has been. And so that's another great thing. And let me tell you something about Denise. So I think the first time I met you, did you come to a class in Raleigh? Was that it the first time?
That is correct.
Okay. And so that class, we did that series with Carolina Small Business Development. And she said, I have a skating rink. And I was like, what? And I used to love to skate. I'm from New York. And so we had this big skate rink that's kind of like famous that's called Skate Key. So skating has always been a part of what I did when I was young. And it was something that I loved that I always felt like kind of really united the community. And so to meet somebody that owned a skating rink, I'm just like, okay, well, that is super cool. So tell us just give us a little background about how did you even decide I'm going to open up a skating rink? Like, what was the history of that?
Well, actually, I didn't open it up, but my parents did. Uh,
Okay.
my parents came to Rocky Mount in 1947 and built a drive-in theater first. Well,
Really?
yes, that's where the name Skyvue comes from. But
Oh.
remember, the television comes out in the early 50s.
Uh-huh.
It's starting to get popular, and my dad's thinking, skating, drive-in theaters may not survive. What am I going to do? So
Mm-hmm.
he decided to build a skating rink. And he traveled as far north as Baltimore, Maryland, and down
Mm-hmm.
south into Florida,
Okay.
trying to determine, how to build a rink. Should I build one? And sure enough, he came back. By today's standards, our rink is a little small. Our
Mm-hmm.
actual skating surface is 60 feet by 160.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Today, most rinks are maybe 80, some 100 feet wide, and
Okay.
about 180 in length. So we're a
Okay.
little narrow. But he was 39 when he built it. He didn't know how to skate. So, of
Mm-hmm.
course, he had to learn how.
Okay.
And so you can teach old dogs new tricks.
Yes.
He proved that. And of course, I was 3, so I grew up skating. Like most children don't remember learning how to walk. I don't remember learning how to skate either. So it seems like when I introduce myself as the chief fun officer at Skyvue, and people are fascinated that I own a skating rink at my age. Remember, age is just a number. And yes, I still skate, and I teach many people how to skate even now. And of course, COVID, even a lot of adults are coming back to skating. It's just so much fun.
Yes, yes. That is an amazing story. So basically it was, and you know what, just even thinking about that, like just your father saying, okay, let me have the foresight to say, okay, this theater thing is good, but I can see that there's something that may be a threat to this business. And so let me go in and find something else. But he was always in the idea in the realm of entertainment, right?
Yes.
So that's amazing to be able to do that. And so then you were able to just kind of take it over. Now, let's talk about COVID. Because part of what happened during COVID, me personally, our company, Give It to the People, really was born through COVID, okay? So my previous company was Lady Business. Me and my husband were together the whole entire COVID, pretty much. And so that's when we decided to do this business together. And we did a whole bunch, or I did the counseling. He did a lot of the behind the scenes marketing, admin stuff. And during that time frame, I was able to counsel you through that time, right? What did you get from that? Because a lot of people were not able to sustain through COVID, and you had no choice but to be closed. And, then we talked about a plan to get you back open. And so, what did you kind of learn through COVID? Because starting from the 40s to go into now, that's a long time to be able to have a business, to have a legacy business like that.
Well, I have to say we were closed for about 6 months. And as soon as it looked like we were closing, I am a member of the Roller Skating Association International. And our organization immediately started hosting town hall meetings every Wednesday. Now, one thing about the skating business, we're always busiest when the weather's cold.
Yeah.
So we are very used to banking our money from the winter months to pay the bills as we move into the summer when it's a little bit slower. Now, where we're located in Rocky Mount, we are very close to the beach and to several theme parks. So people go out of town for the weekend for entertainment with their families. So that is the cause for the drop in business. So we are used to banking that money and have the resources to help us get through. But I have to say our association did an excellent job of town hall meetings, and we organized as an association, creating policies as well as signage, branded signage that we could begin to use through our social media as well as our physical locations as people once we were opened back up. We did break down to the state level, and I actually became the spokesperson for the North Carolina operators.
All right.
I thought another gentleman would take that on. He didn't, so I just jumped into the role. We did get a teleconference with Mandy Cohen's office, and we were hopeful they were going to give us permission to open. They did tell us that there were no exemptions, and of course, I kind of called their hand on it because the governor in the latest teleconference press meeting, he shared that the breweries had petitioned her office and they were granted an exemption. So that was the reason that I contacted their office and requested the meeting. But the young lady that I spoke to said, she did not know anything about that. So I personally made the decision to open my rink. I contacted my local sheriff. We have an excellent relationship. I'm very involved in my community because we are very much a community-based business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I work with the DARE programs for the children in schools, so
Yeah.
we're just a natural fit. So I did contact my sheriff, and I told him I wanted to open, and he told me he understood. He said, you know, if I get any complaints, I'll call you. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him very graciously I thought that was a great plan, and I would respect that. We
Yeah.
never got calls. The community was ready to open back up. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
we did open with a limited capacity, and we did hit that a couple of times. And, you know, some of my regular children who skate with me every week, they might not get there till, say, 20 minutes after we open the doors. So I kind of warned them and said, look, you know, we may have to go into limiting capacity. You need to be here at opening to guarantee you get in.
And
Because
I encourage them to be there. Yeah.
well, I didn't want to have to turn them down.
That's,
They are my bread
mm-hmm.
and butter. They're there every week to skate with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that would hurt their feelings or disappoint them. But, you know, I had to respect the parameters that the state gave me to open. And,
Yeah.
but most of them, you know, they understood, and they definitely started getting there a little earlier. But we made it through COVID. And again, like I said, our association helped us greatly because they tried to steer us and give us guidance how to do so safely. So
Mm-hmm.
I was very thankful that we made it through, because many small businesses did
Did
not.
not. They did not. It's a lot that didn't, you know, and there's a lot that I can say in regards to that. But I think that you made some really excellent points. Having the community be a part of your business and you being a part of the community, because I'm sure that there are plenty of kids that you've seen from probably the same 3 years old all the way up till high school, and then they're probably having their kids and then bringing it back and recycling. And so that community nature is amazing. Having a clientele that is going to come every week is amazing. But I think that the important thing about your business also was that it is a part of exercise, right? Like, you can't skate and not get exercise. So when they were talking about some of the parameters and some of the things, you know, we talked about possibly opening to smaller groups and, you know, being able to still have something that would be sustainable. And so I talked to a bunch of people through that time frame, and I'm just so glad that not only did you have the tenacity to say, I'm just going to open, but I'm also going to check, you know, on that side of things, because I know what I need to do for my business. But the fact that you were also a part of an association who was there to be able to, in a way, mentor, lead, guide, and advocate for your business, to me, that's an important factor. And I always tell people, I was just doing a summit yesterday, and I said, listen, find something to join. Find somebody else that can also be a part of what you're doing for your industry, and then you will also be able to be exposed to how they do things in another city or in another state, and that can help your business thrive, because oftentimes it's the ideas, but I think when you have that organization backing, to me, that's an important factor. And I also love how you said, listen, I took over, you know, like I ran it for the state, and then it puts you in a position of leadership. And, you know, now for you, is yours one of the oldest skating rinks in the state? Because I would imagine it would have to be.
I think I am the third oldest
Third, okay.
still operating in the state of North Carolina.
Okay.
Fry's Roller Rink in Concord, I think, is the oldest,
Okay.
starting in 47. And then Thomasville, North Carolina, has a small skating rink. I think they opened in maybe 49.
Okay.
And I think we come in third in 58.
Okay.
From what I'm able to establish through that leadership period time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we do meet as a group, as an organization. So
Mm-hmm.
just trying to connect with some of those older ones to find out who was first.
Yeah.
I was too young to really make that connection back then.
But that's an important factor. And so one of the things that we've been talking about, me and then some of my colleagues has been legacy businesses, businesses that have been in existence 20 years or more. And the ability to be able to do that is amazing, especially in today's society. Now, one thing that you do that I love, 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 love is you embrace technology and you embrace social media. And when you talk about a company that started in the 40s till now, you have some people that are like, I don't feel like I need social media. I don't need to be on that. That's for the kids, right? You keep that face on social media. You keep the kids, the parents, and everything engaged. So the transition, though, because when you started, social media didn't exist, right? And really, people act like social media is so old, and it's really not, right? Social media is still a teenager. So what was the transition of you with the marketing? Like your father said, listen, the TV's coming, and so then you had the advent of the cell phone and everything else in that time frame of this business. But what made you embrace social media?
Well, I have to say we've been here simply by word of mouth for all.
Mm-hmm.
We are very heavy in third generation families, and we're beginning to get into fours now. But yet you still hear people that say, I never knew you were there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a young friend that has a rink up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he told me once, Denise, if it's not on the internet, it didn't happen.
Yes.
So he helped me realize the value of being found on the internet, digital. Folks carry these cell phones everywhere they go. It's an
Everywhere.
advantage to them, really.
Yep.
So you better make sure they can find you there. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, the North Carolina Small Business Center has been a very big component. That's how I met you.
Yep.
I've taken a number of your classes through them. And of course, when I went to college, I had to go to the library with the card catalog, pull a book,
Mm-hmm.
read by
Mm-hmm.
card, go back and use my portable typewriter. So
Mm.
come a long way, baby. But
Yes, no,
you know,
but I love that factor that you're willing to do it, because not only do you come to the online classes, before we started doing all of those, you would come to the classes, right? And so just thinking about taking the time out, and we were doing classes probably like 6 to 8 then. So what's the distance from where you're at in Rocky Mount to Raleigh?
probably about an hour.
That's what I thought. So you're leaving my class at 8 o'clock at night to drive back to Rocky Mount and not getting home until at least 9 o'clock. And do you know how many people wouldn't do that, right? And so that hour, that transition, I just feel like that's probably also one of the reasons why your business is successful, because not only will you travel, not only will you be online, but you're willing to continue to keep learning more. And, when I see your face pop up, on the screens when we're doing the online things, I'm like, hey, Denise, right? Because I think that it's an important factor that you take the time out to continually learn. And if more people would do that, specifically in these legacy businesses, I think that it would make it easier. So what's your favorite social media outlet?
Probably Facebook, because
Okay.
so many people really connect through that.
Okay.
I feel like my weakest is YouTube, but I'd
Mm.
love to move into there because I feel like I have a lot of stories to tell.
Yes.
I would love to do some teaching through there.
Yes.
Right now, my Learn to Skate classes are very popular. I have a lot of adults that are coming.
Okay.
And they are all telling me that I'm the closest one that they can find that will teach them how to skate. So
Wow.
I don't know why these other rinks are not teaching people how to skate. Maybe they're just not comfortable doing it. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
teaching people how to skate is not difficult. It's very mechanical. And
Mm-hmm.
once I call it my show and tell, because I'm not
Okay.
going to tell you, but I'm going to demonstrate. I want you to help. I want to help you understand how do you keep your balance on your skates, how to move,
Yes.
and then, of course, how to get up from a fall. And of course, I
Uh-oh.
like,
Somebody said they need to come out to Skyvue. They haven't been there in
come
years. So
on.
listen, you better get out there and go on the Skyvue.
It's still fun like it's always been. But
Yes.
my goal as a skate instructor is to help you gain confidence in your skating. Because
Mm-hmm.
once you become confident on those wheels, you're going to take off. The sky is the limit then. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of fun watching people progress and
Mm-hmm.
gain that confidence in skating.
Yes. Yes, yes. I mean, it does make a huge difference. And I know I can still skate. I might not be able to go as fast as I used to be, but that is one thing. And I have not been skating in years myself. So just thinking about that, it's just the energy that's there. And I think that it's an important factor that you said teach. I constantly tell people, you have some knowledge that's in here that could be monetized, right? And so do you plan on passing this on to your kids?
Well, actually, my brother had a heart attack, so
Oh,
he's had to step back. He had one back in the summer.
oh God.
He's trying to get his strength back and
Okay.
back up to. So in the meantime, my daughter has come on board to help me.
Okay. Good.
She is my mini me. Um,
That's
so,
wonderful.
it's very easy to let her take over and do whatever because she, again, grew up in the business. She
Mm-hmm.
how I value my customers and how I want it when they come in my doors. So I'm hoping possibly, the future is hers because it would be a great fit.
Yes. Yes, that is amazing. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to pass a business down like that. But it's also super important that she grew up in the business. She does have a respect for what you do, how you do it. And then this way, I'm sure once she takes over the leadership reins, then she'll be able to keep expanding and then pass on to her kids and pass on to her kids. And that's really what you want in a legacy business is to have a succession plan that's in place that allows the company to still be thriving, after you're gone. But then your grandkids, your great great grandkids, and everybody can keep on living, and so that to me is an important factor. So everybody, if you want to see Denise in person, first of all, go to Skyvue, right? And go visit her in Rocky Mount. Second of all, she is going to be with us at the Women in Business Summit next week on Saturday. And she's going to be there early in the morning. So we start on time. 10 a.m. You need to be in the building. Okay. So come on in at 9:30, register, get to mix and mingle, get your seat. We're going to start at 10 o'clock. Denise is going to be on our panel. So we're going to be able to talk to her a little bit more. So basically the stuff that we talked about today, we probably won't talk about as much next week, but we're going to talk about some things that you might want to consider being a woman in business. And I think that that's an important factor because, when you think about businesses similar to yours, sometimes fathers don't want to pass those things down to daughters, right? Because when you mention you have a brother, it could have been that the brother took it over. And so when you start to look at just the strength that's there and then the way that you take care of people, even though I haven't been there, I can tell the way you take care of people just based on your pictures and your videos and your willingness to be a part of the visual aspect of your business. And I love and I respect that so much. So do you want to tell people where to follow you at?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Snapchat for my young people, because that's how we communicate.
There you go.
Instagram and YouTube. So, and I'm also, you can connect through with Messenger, but I do be very active. I have a great Google listing. I try to post, I receive calls and messages or chats.
Mm-hmm.
So reach out to me. I like to connect with you and help you get skating again.
Yes, so you guys see why Denise is going to be there. All right, so we have a comment that says, this is so good. Says it's interesting to see the face behind the business. This is Pam's. Pam said, I grew up in the Rocky Mountain area, and this was our go-to spot every Saturday morning. So, I mean, it can't get better than that we're doing this live. And then you also get like 2 great reviews while we're on here of people that said that your business is wonderful. And see, that's the power of social media is that people just pop on, they get to see it because we weren't even going to do this on Instagram, right? And then now you get to communicate with people. So thank you so much, Denise, for making time for us today. For everybody else, you can go to giveittothepeople.com and then we list our episodes up there so you can go ahead and listen listen to episodes, you can also go on YouTube. And I'm just going to give you the easiest thing. If you go to Chisa TV, you can go right to our YouTube. And then this way you can see any of our past episodes and anything that's upcoming. You can also get a notification for us. So any of our new speakers that'll be coming up in this series, if you want to be reminded, it will do that for you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free, once this is over, share it in your Insta story so more people can see it, and then go out and support, so that this way all of the people that are in Rocky Mount, you need to make your way over to Skyvue Skateland. Thank you so much, Denise.
Thank you, Chisa. I'll see you next Saturday
You
morning.
sure will. All right. Now, everybody else, make sure you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you.